How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, stochastic is pulling back. RSI is starting to weaken due to the stochastic pulling back, so keep an eye on them. VWAP is starting to reject that neutral. Momentum is falling down. Money flow is pulling back. We do have an indecision candle at the bottom of a possible bearish consolidation range. I would watch for a push forward. A push forward could make crypto retrace. We do have the inverse on crypto. So over on Bitcoin dominance on the daily, we do have a reversal here, so we could end up rounding away. Our stochastic is starting to drop away. Our size pulling back. VWAP is crossing bearish. Keep an eye on that. If that VWAP stays bearish, we could see dominance continue to weaken, and that would mean Bitcoin would do worse than our altcoins. Over on total for the daily, we did try to break out of our pattern, and we got rejected. Again, showing why that confirmation is important. We hit that resistance of our 602. Got rejected, and now we are within our pattern. I would watch if we can hold and bounce from here and stay out of our pattern. If we can, then we may push through that golden pocket. Our stochastic does want to push up. RSI is gaining strength. VWAP is pushing up. Momentum is gaining strength. And money flow does want to push forward. I would just watch lower time frames. Over on the 4-hour, we do have that touch to the top and a rejection and a touch to the top of our pattern. This is what we want to see. We want to see a continuation from this point. Break that 602 to continue us further up. That would push our altcoins higher, and likely they would outperform Bitcoin with dominance starting to pull back. Our stochastic is starting to drop away. RSI is pulling back. Momentum is rounding. VWAP is overall bearish, and money flow does want to pull back. So I would watch that VWAP close. Over on the 2-hour, VWAP is starting to pull back, favoring bearish with lower lows and lower highs. Keep an eye on that. If that does not reverse and get a bullish trend soon, momentum will break down and money flow will follow. Over on our 1-hour, RSI is starting to run away, stochastic is pushing up. That VWAP does have a lower high. Watch it as it wants to run away. If it breaks that neutral, we could see momentum remain bearish, and that's where we could break back into our pattern and still see that bearish pattern play out. So over on Bitcoin futures for the day, we did try to break our point control. We were unsuccessful. That's on our fixed range volume profile. We cover that in the Mastering the Trade series. We did reject that area, and now we are potentially going to round away. Watch tomorrow's candle. If it's a red candle, we would break down. This candle would not happen until Monday, though, as futures does not trade over the weekend. VWAP is pulling back. Momentum on to run. Stochastic is dropping. RSI is pulling back, and money flow is favoring bearish, so keep an eye on things. Over on the 4-hour, we do have a potential double top. We are kind of losing some momentum, but as we're not really trading here, I'm going to skip the lower time frames. They don't really help us if they're not trading. Over on the Bitcoin for the daily, this is what we're going to want to watch over the weekend because it does trade. We did try to break that 63K and we got rejected. Watch for tomorrow's candle to be red. If it's a red candle, we could make a rounding top, potentially making a lower high or a break of this high. If we see a lower low following this higher high, we could end up breaking down. That lower low could cause us to break that 57. But if we can continue with higher highs and higher lows from here, and then break that 63 after getting a higher low, then we could push forward. That's kind of what you want to watch. If we do not get a higher low, then that's where we could start to break to the bearish side, invalidate that double bottom pattern, and then try to push lower. Our stochastic does want to round. RSI is pulling back. VWAP is favoring bearish with lower highs, and momentum does want to pull back. Money flow is bearish, so I would watch this daily very close. Over on the 4-hour, we are retesting our resistance. This is very important. If we can get back above and hold, then we can push forward. But again, if we lose the zone, we're likely going to push down. Stochastic is dropping, RSI is pulling back, momentum is rounding, VWAP is favoring bearish, and money flow is starting to pull back, so I would exercise caution. Over on the 2-hour, RSI is overall weakening, stochastic is favoring bearish, VWAP is breaking down overall. Momentum is causing that VWAP to stay bearish, causing money flow to weaken, and price could end up dropping if that VWAP does not reverse. Over on the 1-hour, VWAP does run around, momentum is trying to push up, but if that VWAP breaks down, our momentum will stay bearish and money flow will follow. Stochastic does run around, and RSI is starting to lose strength, so watch that stochastic. If it breaks this 30 area, we could see RSI drop, but if it can continue further up, we will see RSI bring price higher and try to hold above that resistance area. Over on graph for the daily, we did hit our 16,316 like we've been saying to watch for, so I would watch for this critical resistance area. If we do not break and hold it tomorrow, then we could end up breaking away. Our stochastic does want to push up. Our RSI is pushing forward, momentum is gaining strength, VWAP is pushing up, and money flow does want to push up. So I would watch if that VWAP can stay bullish, we could continue to push forward. Over on our 4 hour here, we are above that 300 EMA. We did make a retest and a bounce that is positive. We did reject our resistance area though, so I would exercise caution. If we do not see some bullish momentum hold above that resistance of our 16,316, sorry, cursor was in the way, then we could end up pushing back down to that 14,316. Our stochastic does want round, momentum is pulling back. That VWAP is in a bearish trend. I would watch that. If that VWAP stays in a bearish trend, momentum will pull back and money flow will weaken. That would give us that probability of breaking down. Watch that 300 EMA, or for a shoulder, head and shoulder to form here, we have a shoulder potentially ahead, and then if we pull back, push up, and then pull back, we could make another shoulder and break down. Momentum does want to push down. RSI is still in the bullish territory, but that stochastic is a little more favorable to the bearish side. Watch that stochastic. If it continues to drop, RSI will lead price lower. VWAP does want to hold bullish, but if it does not get a bullish trend here, momentum will break down and money flow will weaken. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to stay above our lower EMA channel, so that is positive. That can continue to push us up, but remember, as they spread away and get further and further apart, there is a higher probability of coming back through and breaking them. Stochastic does want to round, VWAP is pulling back, money flow is bullish. We do look positive here, just keep an eye on that VWAP. If it favors bearish, that's where we could lose our momentum, or if we make that shoulder, head and shoulder. So over on Ankr for the daily, we do want to push forward to our 2883. Stochastic does want to round, RSI is starting to pull back, momentum is rounding, VWAP is pulling back, and money flow is bearish. I would watch, we are holding that point control, so if we get a green candle, we could break our resistance area and push to our 3079. However, if tomorrow's candle is red, it's likely we would lose that point control and push to our value area low, right around that 2338. We're on the 4 hour, we are starting to round away, much like everything else, so again, exercise caution, watch for higher highs with higher lows to continue to push us further up. Otherwise, we could break down. Stochastic does want to round, RSI is pulling back, momentum is rounding, VWAP is favoring bearish, and money flow is starting to weaken. Over on our 2 hour, we do have a gap to the downside. We did run up very quickly. That is not very good. Remember, when you make a quick move up, usually you do retrace that. Our momentum is weakening. VWAP is favoring bearish. Money flow is bullish, but with the VWAP favoring bearish, momentum is about to break down, and that will start to weaken our money flow. So keep an eye on that VWAP very closely. Over on the 1 hour, we are trying to make a potential shoulder, head, shoulder here, so keep an eye on that. That could break us down. We do have some gaps to the downside from lingering from way back here, so keep an eye on those. Our money flow is pulling back, stochastic is starting to curl, RSI is starting to drop, money flow is pulling back, VWAP does want to break down with a lower high, keep an eye on that. If we see consistent lows here, momentum will remain bearish, money flow will start to weaken, and higher time frames will start to push down. Over on XRP for the daily, hopefully my internet provider doesn't crash on us when we get toward the end. Stochastic doesn't want to pull back, RSI is flat, VWAP is pulling back, momentum wants to round, and money flow is starting to pull back. So we do look decent here. I would watch, we could try to reject the top of this channel, but we are holding within this channel very decently. If we can stay above that support area of our 57, there is a chance of invalidating this bear flag and still pushing forward. Our stochastic does want to pull back, RSI is starting to weaken, momentum is dropping, VWAP is favoring bearish with lower highs and lower lows, so I would keep an eye on that. That could continue to drop us if we're not careful. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic does want to round, but we are running up very decent. Keep an eye on that. If we can stay above 30, that will keep RSI high and keep price action moving. However, if that stochastic breaks, RSI likely would follow. That VWAP is trying to hold bullish, so watch for higher highs with higher lows from here. If we can see that, momentum will push up and money flow could go from red to green. Over on the 1 hour, we are holding our EMA band very well, breaking back to the top of it. We need to stay above it and continue higher like we saw on Ankr to push forward. Stochastic is pushing up, RSI is starting to curl though, so keep an eye on that stochastic. VWAP is starting to round, momentum does want to reject, keep an eye on that VWAP. If it rejects here, momentum could reject and money flow could go from green to red, and that could give us a new bearish trend to break higher time frames lower. So last but not least, unless there's any special requests, again, I appreciate all of you for watching. Drop a like if you have not already. We have ALGO, can't even get the coin right apparently, but stochastic's pushing up, RSI's pushing up, VWAP is bullish, momentum wants to gain strength, and money flow is trying to push forward, so ALGO does look positive here. Over on our 4 hour, we do have higher highs. We did get lower lows, so watch if we hold above that EMA. If we can hold above the EMA, we could push forward, but I would err on the side of caution with that quick run up. Momentum does run around, stochastic's pulling back, RSI is weakening, VWAP is favoring bearish with lower highs and lower lows, and money flow is pulling back due to the VWAP favoring bearish and momentum pushing down. Over on the 2 hour, RSI is starting to drop, stochastic wants around, VWAP is starting to favor bearish with lower highs and lower lows, causing momentum to fall, and money flow does want to reject neutral. So if that VWAP rejects our neutral, momentum will break bearish, and our money flow will continue in the red, weakening those higher time frames and causing us to push down. So watch that 300 EMA right around that 1277. If we end up breaking that, then we could continue lower. Remember, we have that 1232 as our next support area. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is weakening, stochastic wants around, VWAP does have lower highs. Watch for a lower or consistent low. If we see that, momentum will break down and money flow will weaken, weakening higher time frames and making us break down. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I appreciate it.